Hello and welcome to part 5 of this series. This is all about the personal. Let's go, shall we? Okay, so this is number 1 and this is subjective. You can do whatever works for you. I've written go to therapy, work on your self-development and understand your obstacles. This is basically anything that is in the way of where you are right now and where you want to get to. We have to take full responsibility for being able to smooth out the path. Now, not everybody is starting from the same spot and everybody's path is different. But I have understood personally that I had to really get to know myself. I had to get to know my angles, my dark bits, my boring, limiting beliefs that were keeping me small and stuck, my unhealed trauma that I hadn't dealt with, all of it. And I had to take responsibility for it because I could keep using it as an excuse not to do the thing. But after a while, that gets really boring because you might have a bit of sympathy or attention from your friends and families like, yeah, tell me about that thing. Like that felt like it was really hard for you. But after a while, I just got sick of telling the story. So what am I going to do with it now? What's its purpose? How can I work with it? And so investing in yourself in some shape or form is so important, I believe. Now, not everybody is able to just say, right, I'm just going to sign myself up for 5 years of therapy, even though I think it would be brilliant if everybody did. That might be out of reach. But what it might be as an action is you beginning to monitor what you see. And so instead of just opening yourself up to social media and going scroll, 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 and having that negative algorithm, maybe it's you topping yourself up in some way and going, actually, let me just have 5 minutes of meditating or going for a walk or making my cup of tea in the morning without all the noise from all of the other things. Understanding your obstacles is a constant evolvement, and these obstacles also are different, and sometimes they come up again and show up in different outfits, and ultimately underneath it's the same thing, but sometimes they're different. But being aware and being able to work with them is really key. I shared a video the other day about fear. And somehow, stupidly, I thought that fear would go after a while. Like, well, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this for 25 years. Surely the fear will go away. And it doesn't. The fear will always pop up to say hello when I'm least expecting it. But here's what happens now. I spot it quicker. I'm like, oh, there you are. Oh, you always come up. You always pop round when I'm trying to do this kind of thing. And I'm aware of you. And thank you for showing up, but I'm all right. I'll take the wheel from here. Off we go. And I now work with it rather than staying in this like slurry of moving around and wallowing in it. I spot it much quicker. Number 2, reset regularly like a bus driver. So our local bus station, the bus is like, that's the first stop of the journey, and everybody is so keen to get on the bus. It's like, come on, I need to get on the bus, it's right there. Why is the driver, you can almost like hear it, why is the driver not just like getting in and doing that? And you often see the driver going up and down, just checking the seats, just making sure like everybody's off the bus, getting rid of some rubbish and all the rest of it. And then they take their sweet time and they get themselves in the chair. They might adjust their jacket. They might, fiddle a bit. They might look at something on the phone. And you can feel people's tension building, like, just start the engine. That driver knows until they are ready and everything resets, they're not ready to start the journey. But as soon as they make that decision, they're into action, they're like, right, off we go. Great. And I think that that's a really important lesson for us, because so often we want to just keep going, doing all of the things, and actually resetting like we're a bus driver, giving everything, getting to its sort of grounded state again. It's so powerful, because then when it's go time, there's no stopping you. Number 3, your environment. And this sometimes is difficult because there may be other components that are dictating this. But I think your relationships, your day-to-day, the small stuff that has a big impact is really, really important. For example, one of the things that I always do is I always take my big headphones on the school run, and on the way there when I drop my kids, I don't have them in, I'm in conversation with them, but on the way back, I listen to something motivating or funny or something that's going to lift my spirits and reset myself in that way. So by the time I get home and I make a cup of tea and I sit at my desk, I'm feeling in that really positive state. So I'm not carrying like all of that madness of the morning. I do that regularly. Other signs that you can look at is like, what do you see first thing in the morning? What do you have next to your bed? Do you make your bed in the morning? Do you clean your kitchen the night before? Or do you come down every morning like, oh my gosh, what madness have I woken up to? All of these things can have a huge impact on your environment and how you feel. And so it's a really great use of your time, even though when you're like, it's just like cleaning my kitchen, it doesn't have to be like a big thing. Honestly, these 5 minutes here, these 10 minutes here, I'm not a cleaning expert, they can really change the course of your motivation, how you feel, and the progress you make. Number 4, are you regularly coming back to a neutral state and cultivating it? And I remember for years living in house shares and living with people I didn't know necessarily. I always felt like I wasn't quite grounded because like, who's going to come in? Who's going to leave the door open? Who's going to have a friend to say? And I never kind of felt grounded. Now, I have my own little pals next door who like to move around in the middle of the night, but you know, I do know who they are. They're my children. But now for me, my home is that grounded, neutral state. But there are other things that I lean on, of things that make me feel in that grounded, start again moment. So that could be, I don't know, getting into bed at a certain time and putting your light on a certain setting and reading a book, or the way that you start your day, the way that you make your coffee. Look at those grounded states, because when you're in that place, it's really it's a really strong place to create from. And if we are all creators, we're all making things, we're all presenting things, you want to come from that place, solid foundations. See what works for you. And finally, you can begin anytime. It's true. You say when. You can do it today, or you can wait another 5 years until you feel more ready. You can start it next week, or you can still be talking about it in 6 months. It's up to you. We know that none of this is ever going to be perfect. We know that there's never going to be a day. In reality, if we're truthful with ourselves, we know there's never going to be a day where everything feels 10 out of 10, excellent. Often it's only in hindsight when we go, wow, we had a great day today. When you're in it, sometimes you are not seeing it because you're too busy in that flow. And so don't allow yourself to get away with that chatter in your head that may not even be true. That chatter which might be like, well, you know, today's not the day. All of that. We all have it. We're human beings. Our brain is trying to keep us safe. If you get stuck there, the more you have of that, the more you want it. Same with me and my sugar relationship. I would think like, oh, I'm just going to have a biscuit because that's like a lovely little hit of sugar. As soon as I have that hit of sugar, I'm like, great, what can I have next? What's for lunch? I'm on then, and I'm on that train. It's the same with the negativity in your head. Once you start down that path, you go again and again, and you're seeking more, and you're telling yourself all the reasons why you can't. Let's switch it around. Let's reframe it and look at all the reasons why you can. I know it sounds simplistic. I know it sounds a bit cheese and like your big sister, like I'm such a cheerleader, but do it. Do it, because we're waiting for you to be the best shining version of yourself. And now is not the time just to keep small and doing the things that you've always done. if now is your time and you really want to make some mega moves this year, let's do it. Let's do it. Lots of love. See you next time. And subscribe and follow along and have a look at my Work With Me page. I have a variety of options. I would love to help and support you and bring all of these things together and get going. Lots of love. Bye.